Hey guys, it's Kanji once again with another not so exciting, but I'll try my best, review, update, whatever you want to call it, on my collection. Now, first of all, I must apologise. It's been months since my last upload, and I know we've passed 100 subscribers now, so thank you for subscribing to my channel, even though the content has been limited recently. I am going to try and put up more videos. It's just been really manic and busy. And also, the figures that have been coming recently, particularly the Dragon Ball Figuarts stuff, I don't think really warranted a video. You know, we've had, since the Broly in April, we've had the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. Not the most exciting figure, really just like a repaint of the original body, in my opinion. Then, of course, we had Android 21, which is one that I skipped, due in part to the fact that it's from a video game and isn't, dare I say, canon to the series. And then, of course, most recently, we had the Goku Blue release, which, again, just seems like a repaint of the Saiyan Raised on Earth version. But the exciting news, as you can see there in front of you, is that we have now just had the release of none other than Zamasu, from the Dragon Ball Super Goku Black arc. And I have to say, not being the biggest fan of Dragon Ball Super, I'm not afraid to admit that, I have to say that particular arc, of all the arcs of Super, is definitely the best one. And Goku Black and Zamasu in particular, I think, are really good antagonists. So here is my kind of little update video on Zamasu. So as you will see off the bat, I have two Zamasu figures, and the reason why I got two, I try not to duplicate too much on my figures, but sometimes there's a little bit more in the box than just an alternate hairpiece or alternate faces. I mean, if you really wanted to display multiple characters with all their different expressions, you could really go to town and just buy multiples of everybody. Equally, particularly with the Saiyans, you have, the black hair, then you have the blonde hair, then you have the red hair, and now you have the blue hair. Again, you could go town and buy multiples so you can have every different outfit and every different transformation. For me, that's kind of a bit overkill. But what I do like is when we get accessories packed in that are more than just an alternate head or an alternate hand, something with a bit of substance that kind of really gives you the character in multiple sort of parts of the story. And so that is why I got multiple Zamasu figures. So let's start off. Ordered from CD Japan. So as you can see here, comes with the good old brown shipper, which I know you don't necessarily get when you order from American retailers. So we'll take it out of the box. And as you can see here is the packaging. So we've got the good old TUI logo. We've got the new blue Bandai sticker there. We've got the Dragon Ball Super logo, Tamashii Nations logo. And then, of course, some nice art there of Zamasu in his transformed state. Zamasu down there. Tamashii quality sticker. And then on the sides, we've got some nice pictures of Zamasu and, different parts of his body, I guess, that are relevant. The hand, the face, and the kind of, crescent or the whatever that thing is in the background. And then, of course, we've got the background there, the back of the box, all that kind of cool stuff and poses. And that's a particular exciting one. I haven't actually played around with that just yet, but I would like to kind of pose him fighting against Goku and Vegeta at some point. I think that'd be pretty cool. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the box. So just taking a little look in the box. Mine's obviously got all the pieces loose now, but you'll see here, you've got the face. Quite a few nice accessories here, actually. So you'll see here you've got a smirking face with his kind of transformation there. You've got like an angry-ish face there. You've got a smirking face, which is like the default one that he comes with. A neck piece there. That's actually like the default neck piece that he comes with. And I'll show you a little bit about that in a bit. And then, of course, you've got these alternate hands. So you've got his open palms, his fingers, and then, of course, his regular arm here, which I've just, taken off because, of course, I've used the transformed state, which is pretty cool for this particular figure. And then, of course, in the back you have the crescent thing, which this one is just kind of stuck in there. So not really much else to say on that. So yeah, let's get into the figure. So as you can see, I've displayed him in two different ways, and I think these are kind of the two main ways that people are going to display him. So this is Zamasu in his kind of default position, I guess you could call it. The face sculpt is really good. A lot of people were complaining about like the 5 head, but I actually don't think he's got a particularly big forehead. Not bigger than he has in the anime. So I think he looks pretty good, pretty well sculpted. Articulation wise, you've got your typical Dragon Ball articulation. The neck moves forward, backwards. The head swivels 360, as I've just shown you. So nothing particularly exciting really about that. Then, of course, you've got the arms. And like I said, the arm comes out of the peg very easily. Well, not very easily, but I mean, you can pull it out to replace it with the purple arm very easily. But you don't have to worry about it falling out. It's not like it's loose or anything like that. Then, of course, you've got the usual elbows there, which are very awesome, double jointed there. So that's cool. Gives you a good range of motion. And then, of course, the hand accessories, as I showed you before, there's a whole variety of those. So that's pretty cool. The one thing I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed with is the waist articulation. And that is because, and I'll show you a bit more on the other figure, it seems to be the top part of the ab crunch doesn't let you twist it too far. It's like it's kind of the shape it's sculpted around doesn't let you really turn to kind of have the upper torso out of line with the midsection. So that kind of limits a little bit with some of the articulation, but it's not too bad. And then what I did find is also the upper torso articulation is a little bit floppy. And I think that might be part of because of the weight of that arm that I'm noticing it. But other than that, I think it's actually really, really good articulation. Other exciting thing, and a lot of people worried about this, you do get that full splitting motion on the lower section, which is not impeded in any way by this because it comes in like sort of 3 parts and it separates all the way up. This was one of the big issues with Hercule, Mr. Satan, that he didn't have that ability to kind of do the splits like that. So that was a bit of a shame. But yeah, they nailed it on Saiyaman, they nailed it on Zamasu. And then, of course, you've got your double jointed knees, nothing strange about that. And then, the ankles with usual limited ankle swivel, but not too bad, I have to say. And the toes, which, of course, point up and down, which is always very cool. And then, of course, we get onto the accessory. Now, what's really interesting about the accessory, if you can see, they give you like this extra part. And what it does is it clips onto the back, the upper torso part, has a little peg in there, and then just lets you clip this straight on. And then the underneath part has the hole for your Tamashii stage to then go into. So you don't have to worry about, buying a separate stage for the accessory. It kind of is all part of the same piece. So that is really cool. I actually really like that. So then we move on to his kind of other variation. And I mean, you can display him with two different faces, both for his sort of base version and also for this version. I've gone with the open mouth. I think it's really cool. It's a shame that they didn't have like a grabbing hand here. They do have one for the for the right hand with the ring on it, but that's obviously no use because you've got the right hand being used with the big purple punch. It does have a shiny texture to it. The paint on both on his face and on the arm, and some people said that makes it look a little bit cheap, but actually I think it looks pretty good. Like I said before about the articulation, you've got very limited swivel on the upper torso to the lower torso. I mean, it's okay, but it would have been nice to kind of get it a little bit more. So it is what it is. But yeah, the sculpting in general on this is pretty damn good. Now, the only downside, and this is interesting for people who else have got it, could be a QC issue, but it's on both of my figures. More noticeable on one than the other. And that is the moulding on this arm. So let's see if I can see it. If you look very carefully here, you'll see there's like kind of like a chunk taken out of the purple plastic, which is pretty unsightly, but not, you know, really gonna ruin your day at the end of the day. But if you were unfortunate enough to only pick up one, you will see that some of their QC issues are worse than others. And I will show you that now because I was a bit displeased to see that on this arm, box, see on this one, it's got like a really bad gouge. It's not like as deep as the other one, but it's a lot wider. And it actually like a little bit like kind of cracked off. Now, I don't know if that's something to do with the mold that they set for these arms. Maybe they've all come out with like a bit of a QC issue just on that inner bicep part. But, you know, I'll be interested to see anyone else who's got Zamasu to see whether they've got similar QC issues. But other than that, I didn't see any other major issues with the figure. And then, I don't know if I showed you, I know I showed you the regular one, but here is the neck piece for the transformed version. And so as you can see, it really just pops out really nice and easy over a little black neck peg and can be, you know, swapped out. And there's even instructions on there about which way around it needs to go. So, yeah. So that's that. So, yeah, I think that's Zamasu in a nutshell. Really pleased with it. Really excited about it. I have to say, in terms of like upcoming figures, you know, beyond Zamasu, the only next figure I'm really excited about is Jiren. I am getting, you know, Piccolo. I am getting Piccolo, and I am going to get Bulma. Oh, and of course, you know, Armored Broly next month. That should be pretty exciting. But for the most part, Jiren, I think, is going to be the next most exciting figure to join the fray. So yeah, hopefully that's answered some of your questions and you've had a chance to kind of see Zamasu from a slightly different style of review, not your typical. So I hope you've enjoyed that. And what I'm going to do now, because it's been a little while, I'll give you a little update, a little tour of the rest of my collection. So let's take the phone and let's show you the rest. So something I've been working on recently is my JoJo Medicos display. Now, I've had JoJo figures for years. They've been boxed up. I haven't really been doing anything with them. But having seen the conclusion of like part 5 of the anime, it kind of made me think, do you know what would be really cool? Let me dust them off and set up my JoJo figures again. So as you can see here, you know, I've got Jonathan, Dio, the Pillar Men, Joseph and Caesar, Avdol, Joseph, Old Joseph, and most recently I've just been getting into part 5, and so this was my purchase of Bruno Bucciarati and Sticky Fingers. Really great figures. I'm going to get more part 5 figures very soon. I'm probably going to box up my part 3 ones because they're not the best QC compared to the later parts. But on the whole, I really love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Down here, you'll notice one of the main kind of changes, I guess. I actually get this reflection away. Is Demoniacal Fit Guldo. And again, it's just really, really reflective. But yeah, I think you can kind of get the idea. Demoniacal Fit Guldo is there. And he looks pretty good. Again, I didn't do a review of him. I know a lot of people aren't big fans of the Demoniacal Fit stuff, so I thought there wasn't really any real reason. That's better. To do that. But yeah, I think he fits really nicely with Ginyu and of course Jace. So as like a set, you know, they look pretty cool. And Demoniacal Fit have kind of announced now, confirmed that they're going to be doing the rest of the Ginyu Force. So that's super exciting. Not much has really changed here in my Android Saga display, nor in my Boo Saga. You know, for those, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, interested, of course, we got the Broly movie Vegeta. There's also the Goku. And essentially what I've actually done is I've just taken Saiyan Raised on Earth and I've put this head and the bootleg belt I had on it. Just so that I've got a kind of, I guess, Goku Black Arc version. And so, yeah, I can't wait to figure out how on earth I'm going to get Zamasu into here. I'm going to have to take some stuff out and play around with that. So that's that. And then here I've got some Kinnikuman stuff for anyone who's a fan. You know, just put something in the comments if you're interested in a review of any of the Kinnikuman stuff. It's sad to see that SH Figuarts haven't released anything for over a year now. It would have been nice to get that Sunshine prototype. This isn't my full collection. I've also got some still boxed up, namely from the Scramble for the Throne arc and the new manga stuff. But yeah, I really like Kinnikuman. I think it's pretty awesome. Berserk, I mean, I added this a few months back. I already had Berserker Guts, but I got the God Hand. I've got that Zod there, a bit of out of scale Art of War, but I think he looks really cool. Like his articulation, I mean, his face sculpt is actually really awesome. Then, of course, 3-0 Guts. For anyone who's got that, you'll know what a great figure it is. And then, of course, Guyver, you know, one of my other big passions. You know, you've got model kits there of the Aptums, along with some Biofighter Wars figures mixed in with some Figmas. And then I've got a shelf here of, you know, the Guyver units and all that kind of cool stuff, and the Zoinoids, the Gigantics, and Duo in the background hiding. And then another display here with kind of the Hyper Zoinoid 5 and, you know, Gregor model kit along with some Biofighter Wars figures there. And again, another Figma, Guyver 1 and Guyver 3, because they scale so much better with the Biofighter Wars and Biofighter Collection than the old Guyvers did. And then here is just kind of a little of a mishmash really of stuff that I've just moved over. Got some Guyver trading figures there. I've got the Medicos Bow figure in one of the Figure Eyes effect bases. And then I've got my Terraformer there looking pretty bad. So yeah, I do like Terraformers. And then of course, just down here, this is something I'm going to review in a little while when the SAS or Super Action Statue Fist of North Star stuff actually starts coming out. Going to unbox that round Kakua Go and set that up and make that look pretty awesome. But yeah, that is a little tour, a little update of what's been going on. If there's anything that you want to know more about or see a review on, then just give me a shout. But for now, it's goodbye, and thanks for watching. Peace.